What's up, everybody? Today on Sunday Gun Day, we're going to be taking a look at the Holosun hs503gu optic. We're going to dive up close, give you some specs on it, and tell you my overall opinions on this red dot. Stay tuned. Alright, so here's an up-close look at the Holosun hs503gu. When you get it, it's going to come in a package similar to this. You're going to have a cardboard outer shell that just describes some of the features of it. Down here on the bottom, pretty simple, nothing much there. But the actual sight itself is encased in this hard plastic box. Plenty of foam padding to go around for it. And I'll break it all apart and show you everything that comes with it. Alright, so here's everything that comes with the 503gu out of the package. First up, you have your instruction manual. As you can see, it's still in the bag. I haven't even looked at it. Next, it gives you a pretty nice microfiber cleaning cloth, but I have so many of these, same thing that stayed in the package. You're going to get a pair of, I think they're called bikini style caps for lens protectors. I don't really use those much. They do give you the Allen key to install it, both the mount and the actual cross piece for your 1913. It is a special drive. I can't really show that on camera too well. It's a star drive. I'm not sure of the size on it, but they do include it, so you won't need to buy one. With the sight, you get two different mounts. You get the low profile mount, and you get the lower 1/3 AR height mount. It comes with the lower 1/3 on it to fit in the packaging. I use it mainly on AR platforms, so that mount stays on it. But they do give you that low profile mount if you want to run it on an AK handguard or any other gun that height will be too high for you. I believe, based on the mounting holes, that this will actually take aim point mounts as well, but I haven't tested that out for sure, so I can't speak to that. I forgot to mention this red dot does also come with the CR2032 battery that it uses. It takes your standard CR2032s. You can find these at Walmart or on Amazon pretty cheap. To install that battery, you have this big cap on the right-hand side of the optic. Just simply unscrew it. They give you a hole if you want to use a coin or a screwdriver, but I've never had an issue with that. Place it in the correct orientation, and then just take that cap, line it up, and screw it back on, and you're good to go. So to power on the optic, there's two buttons on the top. You have a plus and a minus. That's for your different brightness settings for the dot, and to change the reticle, you also use those buttons. But to turn it on, you can hit either the plus or the minus button. It doesn't matter which one, and your dot will come on. And then if you hit the minus button, the brightness goes down. Hit the plus, the brightness comes back up. Just like that, nice and easy. And as you can see now, I have it on the circle dot reticle, which is a 2 MOA dot with a 65 MOA ring. If you want to change that, this optic allows you to change between two different reticles. You can also change this to have just the 2 MOA dot without the EOTech style ring. If you want to do that, simply reach up top to the minus button and hold down the minus button. When you hold down the minus button, you'll see it changes over to just that 2 MOA dot. If you want to go back to the EOTech style reticle, just do the same thing. Hold the minus button, and it comes back to that EOTech style reticle. Alright, so let's talk about some specs for the Holosun hs503gu. Battery life on this optic, when it's on just the 2 MOA dot, is 50,000 hours. If you switch it over to the EOTech style circle dot reticle, they claim 20,000 hours. But you also have to take into account this optic has a ready on and ready off feature, which is motion activated. So after 4 hours, if you leave this dot on, the dot will go off as long as there's no movement sensed by the optic. The minute there's movement, that reticle kicks back on, so it saves your battery life, but there's no delay. The minute that optic even slightly shifts when you pick up that gun, the reticle will pop right back on. There's no delay at all, and it's not solar driven like some of Holosun's other offerings are. It's all motion detected. So if you have it in a car or something and the gun's bouncing around, that motion sense will probably still kick up and it won't go on and off. It'll just stay constant on, so that may drain your battery. But for the most part, I leave it on the circle dot reticle. I've had this thing about 2.5 years or so now, and it's still on the original CR2032 that it came with from the package. So battery life on it is really, really good, really phenomenal. It's right up there with the Aimpoint offerings. I believe Aimpoint gets like 60,000 hours, so it's a little bit better, but the Holosun still hangs right in there. It's way better than the EOTechs are with 20,000 on that reticle. Your EOTechs, you're only going to get about 400, 500 hours out of those batteries. It does take the 2032s, which are a little bit less common than some of the EOTechs are the 132s, or even some of them I believe are double A's. So that makes them a little more accessible for batteries, but as long as you keep those CR2032s stocked up, you'll have no problems with battery life. The hs503gu is one of Holosun's standard line, they call it. It's not one of their elite line. The elite line is a titanium body and mount. This is an aluminum body and mount. Still very rugged. The anodizing on it's really well done. I haven't worn virtually any of it off, just a little bit on the mounting tabs on the 1913 has come off, but other than that, the finish is really well done. It's really, really durable. I've beat the piss out of this thing and had no problems with it. All of the 503s have these captured turret covers, so they're actually protected from impact front and back. And same thing on your windage turret. They have those raised aluminum pieces to keep those caps secure, so nothing hits up against them and screws with your zero. The battery cover, in my opinion, could have been done a little bit better. It seems a little bit flimsy, that cap. The O-ring in there is waterproof. The whole optic is rated, waterproof rating. I can't remember the exact specs. If I can find it, I'll throw it in a card down below, what exactly IPS level that is, but it is waterproof rated. I have no problems with it fogging up or getting any water between the lenses. One thing to note about the front lens, if you can see it here, it actually is supposed to be tilted like that. That reduces some glare and some throw off from the emitter. So it is supposed to be that way. I've seen some reviews online from Amazon of people being disappointed with that and contacting Holosun about it. But that is the way it's designed from the factory, to have that slope. So don't be turned off that that was installed wrong or anything. The back lens is completely flat. As you can see, it is coated. I believe that's an anti-glare coating. I'm not sure what process Holosun uses, but for the most part, it doesn't throw too bad. But I'll see if I can get it on camera here. When the reticle is on, it does throw a little bit of light from the emitter right down there. It doesn't really throw off too much, but at night you can actually pick that up when you're on the highest brightness setting. So if you want to eliminate some of that, you just knock it down a couple levels, and then it virtually goes away. But that is something to note. If you're looking for a nighttime or a stealth kind of operation, this thing will throw a little bit of light out the front of it. So like I said earlier, the durability on this optic is really phenomenal. Is it as good as an EOTech or an Aimpoint? I don't believe so. I've owned EOTechs and Aimpoints, beaten the piss out of them, and never had them break. I can say the exact same about this. I've never had to warranty a Holosun optic, especially not the 503. It's held up probably the best of all the ones that I've ever had. But I will say I believe that the lens quality is a little bit less than an Aimpoint. I'll see if I can try and get it on camera a little bit. When looking through the lenses, they're not the clearest lenses in the world. There's a little bit of blue tinting on the front lens when looking through it. It's virtually clear, but you can pick it up if you've used an Aimpoint or an EOTech. They use really, really good glass. You can actually pick up that discoloration on the Holosuns. All the ones that I've had, the 503 is pretty good. It's one of their higher end standard series optics. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of the manual buttons that you get with the 503. A lot of Holosun's optics use the solar panels, and that gives you just an ambient light control. So whatever light is getting put into the optic, it accounts that into the brightness so that you can see it. The problem with that, in my opinion, though, is that you can't control it, say, at nighttime. So if it's dark, it's going to dim that thing way down, and if you have a flashlight on the front of your rifle and you turn that flashlight on, it'll wash out your dot and you won't be able to see it. So that's why I usually prefer the manual operation styles. Holosun has a couple of those that they offer. But the 503 is in that T1 micro size. Really, really lightweight, being an aluminum body. Takes your standard 2032s, like I said, like the T1 does. Overall, a very, very high quality optic. And it all comes in at a price point right around $200. I believe now the black ones are going for about $230. I've seen them for about the cheapest online. They do also come in a tan, an OD or an FDE tan style. I'm not sure if they're still in production. I believe they are. If I can find one, I'll link that below in the description along with a black one. Amazon has been my best choice to be able to find these. So if I can find them, I'll throw links for you guys down in the description. It would be great if you could click on those. They help out the channel a little bit. I get a little bit of kickback from that to help improve my video quality and get some more informational content out there for you guys. A couple of things I forgot to mention for you guys. The optic does have a manual memory setting automatically. So whatever brightness level you have it set on, when you turn that optic off by holding down the plus and minus at the same time, when you turn it off like that, no matter what button you hit, it comes back on the same brightness level that you had it set at. That's really nice if you want to set it up for nighttime. You can dim it down, turn it off, and then the minute you pick up your rifle, hit the button, and that optic's on and ready to go at the brightness level that you selected already. Another thing to mention too, there's 12 total brightness levels. 10 of them are eye visible, and then the first 1 and 2 setting are actually night vision compatible. So if you do run night vision, PVS 14s or what have you, you can actually have this optic set so you can view it through night vision. While there are much better ways to aim with night vision on a rifle, that is still an option. You can set it up that way. So that's a very, very nice feature to have in a budget-friendly optic. Alright guys, so that's been the review of the Holosun hs503gu red dot sight. Really, really high quality optic for not a lot of money. I highly recommend this sight. It's become my go-to for most of my AR pattern rifles. For that price, you get almost aim point quality. So for most people, I believe that's a really good option to have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, be sure to hit that button down below. Be sure to check out the links, like I said, down in the description if you want to pick one of these guys up. And as always, don't forget to subscribe as well. And remember, be informed and stay free. I'll catch you in the next one.